So BSRE is basically a culminating event where we just kind of put all the things that we train them, such as patrolling, defense, a little bit of TFC we throw in there, radio communication. We just kind of throw everything together that we train them in and put it all together and see how they actually do it. This is the first time of them actually seeing the instructors acting as squad leaders as well, whereas in the past, all we did was train them, teach them. Now those instructors are actually acting as squad leaders, so they can actually see how it's done, see how it is to have a Marine lead them, which I think is very important for the BSRE. Here, during the BSRE, we actually expect them to, react to contact, or react to an IED, or react to a casualty. And we train them to react a certain way throughout, the 3 weeks that leads up to this point. And sometimes they react well, sometimes they don't. But either way, they learn something from it, which I think is really important. The biggest challenge is just being out here and operating for 36 hours in a row. They're not getting all the sleep that they need. We tell them chow's continuous, where it's no longer just, hey, sit down and eat chow. We give them their MRE and be like, hey, whenever you have a chance, eat. You don't need to be reminded to eat, which I think is important. Something as simple as that. Whenever you're actually out there in the field, at least these entry-level Marines never are exposed to something like that. They'd be like, oh wait, so we just eat whenever we want. Just something as simple as that is good exposure, good training for them to whenever they hit the fleet. They're tired, they're going to be hungry. We're going to be moving a lot. They're going to be continuously doing something. Even if they're standing by as QRF, which is quick reaction force. So they could be reacting to possible casualties or whatever. When they're in the holes, they're, especially at night, we go ahead and go 50%, where we let one Marine just provide security and one Marine go to bed. It's good training for them to actually see how it's done. We've talked about it for the past 3 weeks. They've maybe done a little bit of research, and in boot camp they've heard about it, but now they're actually seeing it and doing it, and the instructors are actually showing them how it's done.
They joined the Marine Corps and they became Marines, and then when they got here, they learned what it actually meant to be a Marine. Now they move from there, they see their families on the parade deck, and they go on to their MOS school with the requisite knowledge. Yeah, my job is going to be an engineer, but I'll always be called on to be a Marine rifleman. I think the battalion does a very good job of preparing the Marine for that combat environment, and it really does that because of the battalion center of gravity of the combat instructor. Combat instructor generally comes from the operating forces. He's done 1 or 2 combat deployments, and he has the requisite knowledge of the combat skills, the common skills, from going to combat instructor school. So he takes those skills and he gets a 29-day period of intense training for these kids, so they can go forward and do great things on the battlefield.
It's vitally important that MCT remains relevant, that as doctrine emerges and changes, as TTPs evolve throughout the Marine Corps, and we accumulate lessons learned from not only the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, but also the special purpose MAGTFs, Black Sea rotational forces, those missions that we find ourselves now fighting across the realm of military operations, that we have to ensure that our younger Marines, regardless of MOS, maintain their proficiency in combat skills, basic combat skills, and that when they find themselves forward deployed and in support of the ground combat element, that they're able to survive on the battlefield and contribute as a solid member of the MAGTF team.